Everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of No Recoil podcast, the only Samurai Showdown 7 podcast that we know of. I'm here joined by my good friends Healing Vision and
Hello.
Maki. How's it going, everybody?
Hello.
Combo Breaker 2023 review. So, both these guys here, we attended that event earlier this month. It was a pretty fun time.
Very.
Yeah, it was a pretty great weekend. You know, it's a pretty important milestone for me since it was my first combo breaker, and it's something that was kind of a bucket list item, FGC bucket list item for me for many years. So it was really cool that I got to go.
Well, that's cool.
Uh,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny.
I
This wasn't... Oh, go for it, Maki.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say this was my second combo breaker. The first time I went was I think 2019, and I had plans to go to 2020, but then something happened in the world, and that didn't end up happening. So it's nice to come back.
A teensy weensy pandemic.
Yeah, just a pandemic. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Also, it was my first time at the combo breaker. I was a kind of funny story. I was planning to do a lot of traveling on 2020.
We all were, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
too. Not so that. I got inspired after Frosty 2020 because I did so well, and that was the year that Samsho was planned to be an Evo game. So I was just like, oh man, I'm gonna go to what's it called? To final round, and I'm gonna go to
Wow. Final round.
yeah.
Yeah.
Final round is dead now, by the way.
Yes.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is just
Oh, yeah.
unfortunate. But yeah, it's depressing to think about.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned 2020 because basically for me, I was planning 2020 to be my, quote unquote big year. And I was actually going to retire from the FGC after 2020. So I thought to myself, all right, I'm going to do it big. I'm going to go to everything I can and just kind of get it out of my system. So that never ended up happening. So on the plus side, I guess I'm still in the FGC. Yay. So.
I don't think everyone says they're gonna quit XYZ. I'm gonna quit this time. No, you never quit.
That's
Not
true.
really.
We're all addicts. It's high functioning addicts. Never get away.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens. I mean, the only people that I know that truly retired, they never say anything. They just disappear.
Exactly.
True.
And
True.
the ones that always keep saying, now this is my last tournament, this is my last year, I'm gonna quit the FGC, blah blah blah.
The
then-
Gutex.
Yeah. And then a week later you spot them playing, and then you see them on the tournament, and wait, why are you here? I mean, when
Yeah.
you retire, well, you know how it is. So it's always like that. Really, the only people that you never hear about anymore, they just quit silently.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is how it is in the FGC.
Yeah, if it's a declaration, it's not going to happen. You just kind of have to fade into obscurity or not, I guess.
Yep. Yeah.
So, although to be fair, I never exactly was a, quote unquote name in the FGC. I've basically been a pop monster forever, going back to, Evo 2004. Yeah. I've always been in the crowd, just,
You were
Nobody
there
knew
for
who
a
the hell I was.
certain moment, weren't you?
Yeah, actually, I competed in Guilty Gear the year of Evo 2004. So for
Oh,
Evo
that's-
Moment 37, yes,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So, and it's funny because even then, we just said we say we're gonna quit and whatever. The funny story about that one was, my friends had heard of Evo, and I'd heard of it, but it's just kind of a thing, right? And I had signed up for a school program to do radiology, which is what I still do to this day. I guess this is the perfect time to throw out there my Handle Healing Vision. Yes, it's an old DDR song, but I do X-rays and CAT scans in a hospital, so it's kind of like a double meaning for me because it's kind of what I do. But anyways, I'd signed up for the program and it was about to start, and my friends were like, hey, we're going to go down to UC Irvine and we're going to enter this tournament, and you want to come with? And I was like, yeah, sure. And they were going for third strike, but like I was really not that great at third strike, so I was like, well, I'll go for guilty gear. So technically I did compete the year of Evo Moment 37, which is kind of a weird thing to say.
I mean, it's pretty amazing you get to tell people that you were there for literal history.
Yeah, so just kind of funny.
Yeah. And I'm assuming you felt like inspired when you witnessed the moment.
All right, so this is like, I have to be honest, like there was some weird personal things that had happened, because that happened day number 2. Day number 1 was when I competed, and it was like this weird thing between me and my then girlfriend at the time, and like, it just wasn't good, because, drama when you're, basically early 20s, right? So the funny thing is that I didn't actually see Evo Moment 37, and I wish I would have, because my friends, when they came back, they were like, oh my God, something happened and Daigo did this thing and you just had to be there. And I was like, oh, that's cool to hear, but I didn't see it until like YouTube, and I was like, oh, this is what they were talking about type of thing.
No. Okay.
So, yeah, no, it's just kind of funny though, but yeah, to say that, well, actually, you know what? I do have a funny Evo story, Evo that year, Evo Moment 37 story. So, like I said, I was not a third strike player. Like, I played at the arcade we were all hanging out at, but I wasn't like one of the top tier whatever names of the arcade. So, when it was a big deal because Japan had shown up for like the first time, and there was a bunch of Japanese players for Evo that year, right? And
Right.
When the Americans were just kind of chilling, watching, they were in awe of like the play that they were seeing, because keep in mind, YouTube didn't exist back then, right? So we had only heard names on like Shoryuken and stuff like that. So we'd never really seen what they play like, right? So all these Americans were just like watching the Japanese people play, and the Japanese were playing themselves essentially, right? And I leaned over to my buddy. Now keep in mind, he played third strike extensively, but I really didn't. I was just kind of like, a player, right? I leaned over to my buddy and I said, I could take them, no sweat. And my buddy knew that I was like, full of it, right? Like I was just joking around. And one of the dudes like heard me and he said, oh, you want to jump in on some matches? Like I can, they're just messing around. I was like, no, I'm good. Like, whatever. And they were like, no, it's fine. And so they damn near pushed me into the chair after the one of the players had finished. And I went up against KO, and I don't know if he's still like a fairly commonly known name, but he was like one of the best young players in Japan. And I played Yang, and I was like, oh, crap, I really don't want to do this, right? And so there I am playing against KO, and it was really funny because I actually did better than I expected to. Like, I mean, I didn't win, but like it was a little closer than I was thinking it would be. I thought it was going to be a blowout, which didn't happen. And the funny thing was, as soon as I lost, then all the Americans were like, I got next. And so basically, I think no American wanted to be the first one to lose, because as soon as I lost, everyone was like all up on wanting to play. So I kind of was the icebreaker for that one.
Oh, Combo Breaker itself.
Yes.
I really enjoyed my time. There's things, I have criticisms of some things for sure. And we can get to those, but I'm really glad that I went for maybe an obvious reason. I kind of have a big old trophy sitting on my office desk. So
yep, must be nice.
I'm pretty happy about that. I like, God, the way we did. I can't believe. I really need to pace myself a little better on these trips, because like I got off work, went home, grinded, packed, reviewed match videos, transferred them onto my iPad to watch on the plane, got up, got to the airport. I wasn't even thinking. I like got to the airport. I was thinking about like, oh man, I gotta play this guy. I gotta be prepped. I gotta run these drills for my chain jumps and my backdash buffers, whatever. And I got to the airport and I was just thinking, holy shit, I'm going to Combo Breaker.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. Reality didn't set in until I had landed at O'Hare, basically. That's why I was like, oh, this is happening.
Yeah, it's not a small thing.
No.
And then like, yeah, so we did that. We got there. Immediately, I'm like talking to like all these different people. Yo, we're going to Portillo's. We're getting dinner. Hello, this is this guy. This is the Tam's son, Tao. Hello. How's it going? And it's crazy because like I talk to these people like they are old friends, not like they're old friends, but I talk to these people like I know them from down the street, but they live in huge distances away in Boston,
Yeah.
Maryland. It's pretty crazy, right? It's just a lot.
Definitely. I mean, that's just the way it works in the internet age, where like you know people, and you could even say you know them fairly well, but you may have never actually seen them face to face. So it's interesting times.
Yeah, it is indeed. Because for me, it was like a kind of a Cinderella story. Because after Frosty Fastings, I was really expecting to go to Combo Breaker, right? And I got this is something personal, but I would like to share it. I got a surgery after Frosty Fastings, which involved my spine. So it was a big surgery, right? And I wanted to do it like as soon as possible after Frosty Fastings, so I had time to recover and do all the things that I needed to do to be in a good condition to go to Combo Breaker, right? So everything was going good. Surgery was a success, and then I did all my physical therapy and everything was going great for me, right? So there was another problem that I thought I sorted out at some point after Frosty Fastings. I got to go for my renewal of my visa, and I was like, okay, this should be a piece of cake, right? Because we are on February, and yeah, Combo Breaker is in like May or something at that point, and I have plenty of time. I mean, usually the renewals take like a month or something, maybe 2. I don't know. I have time. It's okay. So time passes. I had no news about my visa so far. And I was like, well, this is not good. And I was doing research, trying to get a hold of someone to get my status of the visa, and nothing was in the website. There was no one that I could talk to. It was very cryptic, and I was like, well, what happened? There's nothing that indicates that something went wrong, that something's missing, that it's approved or denied, and time keeps passing. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna let it pass. So maybe they are taking a lot longer because of COVID or whatever. I don't know. And then another month passes. So it was February. In March, and then we were like approaching to May, and still no news. And I was like, well, this is difficult because I cannot buy a plane ticket, right? Because they ask me for the visa number and I don't have it. So I was like stuck. And at some point I decided to register into Start GG, because I was like, okay, if my visa shows up at last minute, I don't want to be like out of the tournament because the registration closed, right? So it's better to, and I was thinking like this, probably lose the registration money and not lose the opportunity of going to Combo Breaker. So that's that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, expecting to maybe not go, but in case that I can go, I have my registration in place and I can show up, no problem. Okay. So then weeks keep coming and nothing, and I was like, oh no, this is not looking good. Now we are in the middle of May, and I was like, no, this is probably a no-go for me. So, and I just made up my mind, and I was like, okay, that's how it is. I'm not gonna go to Combo Breaker. That's too bad. I really wanted to go, but there's nothing I can do. And then as soon as that happened, the next morning, the status of my visa changed to approved. And that doesn't mean that that's a risky thing to think about, because I needed like 2 weeks after the approval for me to get my visa, more or less. But considering that the whole process took longer, I was like, well, okay, I'm kind of excited, but not really, because I don't really know if my visa is gonna arrive on time, right? And then what happens is that the very week of Combo Breaker, like Tuesday or something like that, my visa arrived, and I was like, oh no, okay, that's good, but I now need to get a flight as soon as possible. And who knows if a flight is going to be available, like for me to arrive before the tournament. Hopefully I can get something and probably arrive like the same day of the tournament. I don't know, I was just thinking the worst case scenario, like arriving the same day and playing like at 6 p.m. my pool or something like that. Fortunately, I got a flight like for, I think I arrived on Friday, right? Because the tournament was started on Saturday for us,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So yeah, so I think I arrived on Friday, and I was like, okay, let's go. And since I was not considering going at that point, well, I didn't have like a room. So yeah, and we all know how the room situation ended up, but I don't know if you want to talk about that right now, or you want to talk something else. But yeah, that's basically the story. So for the longest time I was not going, and at the very end, like last minute, I ended up there, and that was, I think, that it, for me, this was the best Samsho tournament.
Oh, absolutely, it's the best,
Yeah.
highest
Yes.
level
Yeah.
Samsho tournament that has ever happened, at least in America. I think the
Yeah.
only highest level, I think the only better, even Evo Japan, right? That was so long ago, and it was so suboptimal, and it was on such an old version of the game, right? This
Yeah.
tournament was like, nothing was better than this tournament.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't miss it. So yeah, I'm glad it was I was there.
Well, glad to have you.
Yeah, I'm really happy you made it. Your results obviously demonstrated like how hard you worked and how much effort and passion you put into it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I was really happy because I accomplished like several goals that I made to myself years ago. Like whenever
Yeah.
when the game was more active, I would say, like the Parsec era and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I had certain goals that I put myself into, and then for the longest time it was not possible to accomplish those goals, right? Because people stopped playing, and the community like went to Xbox and stuff like that. But now, after during Combo Breaker, I was able to well, I think I accomplished them all, so
Nice.
it was good.
So, yeah, as far as the tournament goes, in terms of the international competition, it was pretty incredible. Like the representation was pretty nuts.
Yeah, agreed.
Like I'm sure most people, if you played any PS4 net play at all, and you're watching this podcast, I'm pretty sure you know of somebody named Savage Stance.
Yeah.
Absolutely notorious net play Yashimaru. He actually came out for this tournament. His screen name rather, is Instinct, and he came all the way from France. So that was pretty incredible. You know, he's a real nice guy.
Yes.
He happened to be in the same hotel that we were at, the residence.
Which is really weird because that wasn't even the main one, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, it was just a happy coincidence. He was just sitting there eating his breakfast. It was like, holy shit, it's Instinct. He's right there.
Yep.
Yeah. We kept bumping into him like every time.
Yeah. So it's funny. So you know, Maki, how you said like you accomplished certain things. I never thought I would get that off of my bucket list, because Instinct, Savage Dance on PSN would basically destroy me, and I'm in Southern California, so from Southern California to France, that's quite a ways. So there was a bit of delay on the PlayStation 4 version, obviously. I always wonder how I would play against him offline, because he usually beats me so hard when we would play online back in the day. And so the fact that I was able to, basically we met up in a tournament, and it was 2-1, and it was close, but like, the fact that I clutched it out was kind of like a big deal for me on a personal level. So, it isn't bragging or anything. I'm just like happy that I was able to kind of like prove something to myself, I guess,
Yeah, I saw the streaming. I don't know who was streaming, if it was Royal or who was the one that...
I think Ghost and Royal.
Yeah, I think it was Ghost. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Ghost.
Yeah, yeah, right. So I saw the match, and it was hype at the very end.
Yeah.
How you remember that Yasha could like throw the spear at you at the very last second, and you just held your ground and don't fall for it because you had Eason, and you wait for him. He threw the spear last second, trying to bait the Eason. And then you blocked, waited, and punished, and that was it. And it was hype.
Dude, my heart was pumping like crazy when that was going on. Like, I didn't know if he was going to do it or not. And that turns into this weird game of rock, paper, scissors. It's like, but like, that's it. The next hit was death, regardless of who it was, So
that's right. Yeah.
No, I'm actually
crazy. Amazing call outs. Like, I did something really nice against Andy. So this is probably one of the craziest reads I ever did. So he started to catch on that I was low profiling his 5B. Or the second set, not the one I lost, but the second set. And then so as soon as literally the instant, the first time he hit 2B instead of 5B to beat the low profile, I deep jump JC'd him, and like full combo 50% corner carry. Like I'm pretty proud of that. That was probably the sickest thing I did in the tournament.
Well, okay. I mean, I hate to disagree with you, but one of the things that like I thought was really hype. Now it's kind of hype only because you would do this to me a lot on the Xbox, but Andy was not aware of or not thinking about the possibility that you would use the cannon in the air to keep you floating to go above the Isen.
Yeah.
That was my personal thing, because it was like, you do that to me all the damn time. So it's like, it's nice to see somebody else get caught by that,
Have you guys seen the meme? Have you guys seen the meme that Tabby on Twitter posts? And it's Yu Narukami from Persona, and he's dancing with sunglasses, and it says, "Have you tried guessing correctly?" that was that. He should have simply guessed right.
Yeah.
Skill
issue.
Yeah, but
that's how it goes. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm pretty surprised that at the very end there was because let me tell you, I assisted on a little bit. I was not too involved in like seeding, the seeding of the bracket. So I was like kind of a consultant because of my status of maybe not going, but but knowing the community and the level of the players. So I did a little bit something, and I was pretty surprised that at the very end, basically the seating was appropriate, because we saw maybe some of the people that hear this probably disagree, or maybe they thought that certain player or players wouldn't like get into top 8 or wherever, but it was pretty amazing that and that people that not normally is on a top 8 that made it so far, and actually proved themselves that why they were on that placing, because they were playing like phenomenal. I think the top 8 was an amazing display of Samurai Showdown at the current state, and everything and everyone did like their very best on the during the top 8. So I saw amazing plays, amazing reads, probably optimal punishes. It was hype. I mean, every match was you don't want it to miss any of the top 8 action. So yeah, even people that didn't play so often or was not involved in the community, like the Xbox, which is the most active, I would say, they did pretty well. And I want to throw the name like Andy. He did pretty well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And yeah, he maybe he was not like up to speed like with all the new
Current
things that the current meta, all the new things that we being developed, but he did pretty amazing. I mean, he I think the status of him is like he always will be a threat, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I mean, it's also a no-brainer. Royal Psycho, even though he struggles to play with people on the
Psycho,
PS4.
he plays Brazilians on
Yes.
PSN.
Yes, and he does.
Well, he has
does
Psycho
pretty
in his
well.
name, so it's appropriate, apparently.
That's love right there.
Yeah.
So there was a real slogan that I really fuck with that I just saw throughout the tournament on the merchandise, and that's how I really identify with, and it's heart separates the good from the great. And that is the realest shit I've ever heard, and I think that perfectly describes how this tournament went. Like, it was all heart. It was all heart on that stage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny to think that, like, as far as top 8 goes, we have the anomalies that Andy being, like, not really playing too much in, current times, and Royal being on PS4, and he is from the Chicago area. Basically, everybody was either an Xbox player or DMV, So I guess it just kind of shows.
Which technically they are Xbox players too, right? Because they do it like they're local. Yeah.
Yes.
Because I heard, like, from Ubersaurus and Taki, apparently they don't actually like play Xbox that much, but they love playing local Xbox, right?
That's cool.
Yeah, whatever works for them. It clearly worked for Taki Tonfa because he played out of his mind.
Yeah,
Right?
no, agreed.
Yep. He did.
So yeah, regarding Taki, like, Maki, you mentioned you seeded the bracket, right?
Yeah.
So I was looking at the pools, and I was like, honestly, it's probably a good thing that I was not the one to seed, because there's like moral logistics associated with the number 1 seeded player seeding the bracket, right?
Yeah.
Even if I trust myself to do that, people can't necessarily assume that I won't influence it in a meta way, even like
Yeah.
absent-mindedly.
Even on a
right?
subconscious level, yeah.
Yeah. So I was looking at the way the seeds went and like the projections. And you know, in my opinion with seeding, I think seeding's always going to be like dicey, right? It's always going to be subjective, but in my opinion, I think seeding should be reputation based more than like results based. So I was looking at the way the seeds were going, and I really thought about making a case that Andy should be seeded higher, and I was thinking about submitting a request that, like, you know, Taki Tonfa's seed should be swapped with Andy because it's most likely going to be Andy and I coming into the grand finals. But then I was watching how Taki Tonfa was playing. I was like, this guy's not seeded too low. He's playing like a god. Holy shit! Like,
Yeah.
So, so Maki, I think that was a good. It was a good call. Or at any rate, the way Taki Tonfa played, he really proved that like the seed was done correctly.
Justified,
so,
Yeah. And I mentioned before that he bit Tao, but it was not Tao. It was actually Royal Psycho. I got mixed up by the Gulf War gang.
Yeah.
So
and I had both.
it actually was top 24 in which Taki Tonfa beat Royal Psycho 2-0 to get into top 8 winners. So it was funny. Well, there was also a clip of them dancing during that match. But funny story was that as soon as Tonfa got off the stage, he was like, he approached us and he was like, well, it was a good match and whatever, blah blah blah. And we were like, well, congratulations, you're now at top 8 winners. And he was just realized that because he was not thinking he was after winning that he was into top 8 already. He probably he was thinking he needed to play one more match or something. But as soon as we told him that, he was like, his expression changed, like kind of disbelief and realizing that he was a top 8 winners, and he was like, really? Oh wait, no, so now I'm a top 8? Yes you are. Wow, great. And then joy, it was pure joy for him, like, wow, yeah, all right. And that was funny because he probably played without thinking, without the pressure of thinking that he might get into top 8, and maybe that had something to do during that match for him to play like more confident and without any like
the pressure was not there.
Yes. So good for him. But yeah, he beat Royal fair and square. It was a 2-0, and it was an amazing display of neutral and punishes and everything. I mean, yeah. So yeah, top 24. It was good. I mean, for me, and I can tell you this, if you were like seeing the stream or whatever, I did a pop off at the very end when I qualified to top 8, but it was not because I had like beef or anything like that. I mean, it was not like that. Whoever was in that chair at that time, I didn't really care for it. I popped off because one of my goals was to get into top 8 on the winner side. Because that would be that would get me like an easier route. Like I had to play less matches.
And the lifeline too.
To get into grand finals or wherever. So that was why I popped off. I think I popped off. The only time I popped off in the tournament was at that point, because and that was a for me, it was a crucial point. So if I managed to get into top 8 on the winner side, one of my goals for the tournament would be accomplished. So I worked pretty hard to win that match, regardless of who the person was. In this occasion, it was Ghost. But yeah, it was just a pop-off of, yeah, I made it. This is step 1 of my plan, of my tournament run, and yeah, I'm one step closer. So that was my top 24 story. And even though the match went like 2-1, it was because of my own mistakes, I would say. I made a couple of mistakes that that make the match longer, and Ghost was catching up on what I was doing and punishing my back dashes. So that was good awareness from him. But and then I made a couple of mistakes, like trying to punish something, and then my button didn't come out, and Ghost really punished me the proper way, and then we went like 1-1, and then I was like, okay, I gotta calm down, and I need to play as calm and as collected as I can, so I can get the W and get into top 8. And then the last match happened, and it was pretty convincing, and I was like, okay, I did it. I'm now at top 8 winners, so let's see how it goes for the rest of the players. And yeah, that was my top 24 story.
Well, that's cool.
It's like a moral victory, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I guess this is a good time to talk about my top 24 story. So I got into top 24 in winners, which I was like, super happy about, obviously. I didn't expect that, which was, cool. Another accomplishment. I was, one of those things you hope, but like, you never know if it's actually going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so in top 24, I had to face Tao, and I've never fought Tao before. And it's funny because we were like, all of us were rooming together. And I think me and Tao both instinctively kind of knew that we shouldn't play each other until the actual, match. And it was one of those things that was like kind of like unstated, but we both had it in our mind. Like, it's probably for the best, right? And he plays such a different style of Galford than Royal Psycho because, basically, I didn't realize it, but Royal Psycho has essentially turned into my tourney demon because he's, the one who beat me in this tournament in, top 8. But also, I believe, actually, no, wait, I take that back. No, but basically, Royal Psycho, he can beat me when, it's, I don't know, pressure's on type of thing, right? And so his both of their Galfords are so different. I didn't really know what to expect, and I mean he definitely caught me off guard with quite a few things. But I could tell he didn't exactly know what to expect from my character either. So it was kind of nice to go in blind on that. But he ended up winning, and I was like cool with that. And the person who I ended up beating off stream was Nick Cool, I think was his name.
Yeah,
I'd never met him before.
from Chicago.
NJN, yes, that was the name. And so like at that point, I realized like, oh, I'm going into top 8 in losers, and I was like, still, once again, that was another shocker for me. That was like, oh shoot, I'm here. And the funny thing was, I thought Samurai Showdown was going to be completely done on Saturday. I didn't realize like the tournament was going to go to top 8 on Sunday. So initially, my plane ticket I had bought to fly out like early Sunday morning, and when we found out that Samurai Showdown was going to be top 8 Sunday, at the last minute I had to change my flight. So that was an extra $160 I wasn't planning on spending, but I'm actually glad I did it because I ended up making top 8. Because it would have been nice to watch it, but like yeah, it was just funny that like I'm glad I ended up biting the bullet on that one and just spending the extra money because otherwise I would have missed my own top 8.
Oh yeah, we
So.
didn't want that. Yeah.
No, of course. And playing Royal Psycho in top 8 was it was cool. Like I said, we played a bit actually at Frosty Faustings in what was it, February. And it definitely went back and forth. But it was one of those things I even told him right before the match. It's like, win or lose, let's give the crowd a hell of a show. And so I feel like we accomplished that. So I'm pretty happy with my overall tournament run, we'll say. So yeah, that's just my end.
My top 24 story is that I was annoyed and I wanted to go to bed, so I decapitated Alzarath. I'm sorry, Alzarath, if you're watching, but like I just was like, I need to. I think he was playing really, really on point, and I could tell. I think he might have sandbagged me a bit in casuals, but I was just like, I'm just sorry, but I gotta do this to you, so I bikened him.
Yeah,
so to speak. And then I am really like really grateful that he was the person I played in top 24 losers, because like I was really to be honest concerned about running into a certain somebody in top 8. So I was just like, as soon as I beat him, I turned around. I was like, hey man, I really need your help. So I was like, what are you doing tomorrow morning? He was like, probably nothing. I was like, okay, do you use Discord or Twitter? And he was like, either or, doesn't matter. I was like, okay. So I was like, I messaged him. I was like, we need to grind. We need to just play. And I thought about it. Like, you have to, when you play, I made all these notes for Andy. But like the thing that you have to always play to learn, even when you're playing to win. That's what I'm pretty sure Viscant said it. You have to always play to learn, even if you're playing for huge amounts of money. You have to always iterate and respond to what is actively happening. So instead, I made all those notes for Andy after I lost the winners match in top 24. And then when I played him in top 8, I didn't even look at them, because the only thing that matters is responding to your opponent as they are doing something, to what is right there. So all I did was just play Alzarath. And the fact that he may or may not be as good as Andy is not important, because all I did was look at, like, fundamentally, he's using this, he's using that. What do I respond to? All I focused on was playing well, making the right reads, adjusting the game plan based on my whiff punishes around his neutral options and what he's trying to do. The throw game of responding to his throw escapes. The deep jump pressure game, taking my turn back and baiting rolls, using 50-50 to punish blocks. All I did was just play. There's no hang-ups. There's no pride. Emotion is a choice. That's what I told the Stan at Frosty. Emotion is a choice. And you could choose to have a whole bunch of other external stupid details, or it's your choice to let outside things affect your mental, because the game, as you said, Maki, the game is all mental. And when it came down to it, you just play, just get up there and play. Every set you've ever played is the same as every other set you've ever played, and I'm not kidding. You're up there, it's the game. Get on the sticks and run the set. That's what they said in the trailer. Just play. And that's what I did, and I'm so happy that I came out on top following that principle. I think it really proved something, so I'm very happy. In regards to other aspects of the top 8 that mean a lot to me, I think it was very palpable. There was a certain angle, so to speak, going into this top 8, at least regarding me and a certain somebody. And I'm not going to go into too many details because that's not what this podcast is for. But I heard certain things, and I knew as soon as he entered what this was. And it's like, you know, I chose not to put it in my mind space, even though when I got to the actual top 8 stage, that angle became palpable. And the only thing I will say is this: Andy put out the fist both times. He put out the fist when he won, and he put out the fist when he lost, and I was enormously surprised. But I digress, because that does mean a lot. So whoever happens to be listening to this, I want them to know that that's all this is about. I don't know everything about any detail about someone's life, and I don't need to. I can leave my hangups at the door, or hopefully I can in the future. But ultimately, run the set. It's all about the sticks. We're here for Samurai Showdown. We're here because we love the game. And I'm glad, from a moral perspective, that Combo Breaker proved that. So, yeah. Are you guys still there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're here, but it's almost like, well, how do I follow up with that? Like, you know.
I dropped some real stuff.
No, you absolutely did. It's like, well, the food was nice, and like, I don't know what to say.
I had to really get that off my chest.
I really like my crouching B. Like, that's I don't know what to say after that. Because that was a little emotional, like not like emotional, but like, yeah, no, that was a little, you know, deep, and it's cool. I'm glad you were able to have that experience for you. And you know what it is? If anything, this just shows Combo Breaker this year was something different for everybody. And as long as you got some of those things accomplished, it sounds like that's what led to overall having a very good experience for, it felt like everybody, right? Like nobody I talked to really had any qualms with you know, the way anything went. It was a great experience for the community overall, and I guess for seemingly for us as individuals. And it's funny because, like, I mean, I don't know if this is going to be like weird to say, I didn't realize I was on anybody's like radar type of thing, because I'm just me, right? Like I love the game and I've been playing. I missed the Parsec era because being in Southern California, I ended up playing, while you guys were on Parsec, I was still on PS4 playing ranked on Japanese people because I have a weird work schedule. Mm-hmm. Like it's not uncommon for me to be playing like late night, which is not as weird for hours in Japan. So I was grinding with the Japanese.
You're definitely not the only person I know for a fact that tries to play the Japanese at like.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, but it was not a conscious thing. It was literally just the only option I had because of, like, you know, my work schedule and, like, you know, being, you know, on the West Coast. And I got to be honest, I kind of, like, technology-wise, I was kind of iffy about Parsec, so I just never, like, bothered with it, right? So I played what I could with who I could, right? So it's weird for me because I know even at EVO, this, what was it, 2022, I was an unknown, but like, I mean, I had been there the whole time, just, you know, playing with a different group of people, so to speak, right? So I didn't know, it's weird for me to like say, oh, I'm like, people know my name, my handle, my whatever, you know? And so it's kind of like a nice thing to like legitimize, like, oh, I guess I am like, you know, kind of decent, which is cool. Like, you know, it's, I got a medal and it's shiny and beautiful, so, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's also, like, pretty big, right? It's one of the biggest medals.
Yes,
it's a really high quality medal. They put a lot of effort into it. It's very solid.
Yeah,
good build quality.
Yeah, it is. So for me, the experience overall, like talking about the tournament, of course there's like things that I would say has like room for improvement, like tournament wise. I mean, every event has those. Like it's there's no like a perfect event like in all matters, right? But overall, like my experience playing Samurai Showdown, and that's the only thing that I can speak about because I don't know about other tournaments or what happened in other situations during the tournament. I was pretty focused on my run, on playing the best as I could, on doing all the things that I normally do, and trying to treat this as a big event, but not uh, getting into a position in which like, oh no, uh, I'm on a tournament stage right now. I have to win. I have to do this. I was like more playing like I need to do the things I know, the things that work. I know this matchup, regardless of who am I playing. I will do my best to try and come on top. And if not, there must be a good reason for it. Like if it was it because I didn't know how to deal with something? Was it because something else? And even though it something funny also happened during my pool play and my top 24 play, turns out there was like a because I use junk food micro to
Junk
play.
box.
Yeah,
Junk food snack box is
yeah,
something.
yeah. Not sponsored by any means, but
Mhm.
yeah, it was behaving pretty good, and I've been using that for like a couple of years by now, or 1 year, more or less, whatever. So turns out that in the middle of my pool play and my top 24 play, something happened, and my snack box stopped working, and that never happened before. So I was like, well, I don't know what's happening. So Scrub was very kind of borrow a converter. So I used the converter during my pool play in my top 24, and I was like, well, I don't know what's happening. I need to play. How can I make that happen? And there was the converter option. I did it that way, and the next day turns out that there was like an update, firmware update happening during the tournament.
Oh wow.
Which, yeah,
Yeah, that's a unfortunate
yeah,
coincidence.
which basically like kind of reset the micro, and yeah, the next day I think we were at the hotel room, and I did the like the download and everything, and I updated the micro, and then I had like to force the before I plugged the connector, the USB into the console, I had to force the micro to be an Xbox compatible, like holding one button or something like that before plugging it in, and then it started working again. So gladly I got that sorted out for the top 8, but it was I was like, oh no, why is this happening right now? Yeah? So things that are outside of your control, but overall I think it was a good experience for me. Talking about top 8, it was me versus Andy, which for me for the longest time was one of my goals, because yeah, you know, Andy was the Jubei when Samurai Showdown like kind of started, and for the longest time he was the person to beat, and there was no other Jubei that was like kind of even considered when he was around, and I only managed to beat him one time in a bracket during the running rumble era, and it was I remember that he thought that he could punish something, and then he did like the uppercut, and I blocked, and I did the SSM, and I beat him like 2-1 one time. And after that, I was so close, like during the online era, Parsec, PS4, to get the win, but I couldn't. And also, I've been like always chat with him, with sharing tech or whatnot, and asking for opinions about certain matchups and stuff like that. I was like consider him like kind of a mentor and a person to look up to in terms of gameplay, and obviously because he was also using Jubei. And what surprised me was that he went Jubei all the way for this tournament. I was expecting him to go Viking, but that
I was
fine.
also really expecting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that set with Cypher on my YouTube, but I was under the operating assumption of the Viking pick. I was really surprised, but apparently what Aru said was that for like emotional reasons, he deliberately picked Jubei because this is going to be his last tournament, and I do not know if that was a good idea, my guy, because I did not spend a $750 plane ticket to play 4-6s. That's for damn sure. So
Yeah.
Well, he did pretty well at King of Fighters as well, so he got
yeah. Well, that was his main focus, right? That's yeah.
So one of my goals was to see how far I've come, and when we faced the mirror match, it was kind of a little bit emotional for me, but I didn't think I tried not to show any emotions, or for the emotions to keep like out of the way during the match. I mean, for me it was like, oh my god, this is happening before the match. This is happening. I have to do my best, but what I'm feeling right now, I don't need these to get in the way during the match. I have to keep playing as I've been playing and do the best I can, right? To prove it doesn't matter if I win or lose, but I need to prove myself how far I've come, right? So if I can do this, it would mean that I finally gave that step in the right direction, that I finally overcome what I think it was a milestone. And then it happened, and the match happened, and I feel pretty comfortable. I feel relaxed. I feel in the zone, and I think it showed. Like, I was making the right calls, punishing everything that I know I can punish with Jubei versus Jubei. Not getting in the trying to avoid the situation of, well, I don't know what to do, and trying to respect the person who is playing. It was more like, I know what to do in this situation. I know if he does this, I can do this in response. I know that I need to do the A, B, and C, and whatever. So that worked, and I feel confident. I feel good about it. And at the very end, I just and I told him, and this was not in a disrespectful way or anything, because every time that we faced in tournament, regardless of the situation, I was like, man, I always lost to you, but this time I was this close to beat you. And he was like, yeah, you shouldn't have done this or whatever. And this time I just looked straight at him, and I was like, man, I finally did it. I finally beat you. And he was like doing just a little chuckle over there. But I just wanted to make this clear that it was not in a disrespectful way or anything. It was just for me to finally be able to do something that I was, for the longest time, thought it was not possible or very difficult to do. So it took me years, of course, but it was one of the things that I really wanted to happen. And I'm glad that I came up on top on that, and it was a good experience for me. And yeah, and after that, I just realized I was on winners final. I was like, okay, I can do this. I mean, I can go even further and make it to grand finals. I'm pretty sure of it. I think it was, for me, it was like a boost in confidence at that point. So I started playing more confident, and that's when I think my gameplay starts to be more, probably making more bold decisions, I would say. I don't know, but I felt pretty confident after that, and it was a pretty good top 8 for me overall.
Well, congratulations on your performance. I don't think you have anything to prove to basically anyone. I'm really happy your visa stuff having to work out, because it's always really fun playing you, and we finally get to play offline.
Yeah.
You know, or once a year we get to play offline.
Yeah. Well, it's twice this year.
Yeah,
I guess three times. I think I only played you like 5 games at like Frosty or something.
Yeah, no, I think it was like 10 games.
Yeah, I played every
time,
single person. I played almost everybody, but I only played them like 10 games. It was like, I was also there at Frosty's Chill. It's just like hang out and do shit too, right? Like I played Soul Calibur 2 with Mayor Park. Just roaming around. I have a friend from Edmonton. He's a really high level biking in Strive. His name is Memo Kart. So it was a big deal that he was going. So all the Edmonton boys like were spending a lot of time like watching his pools. So I was there for things that were not just like Samsho itself. So it gave me less time to play Samsho itself. But yeah, it's just I only got to play people very briefly. So every time I get to play people more offline, it's great. So I'm really glad you made it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was nice that you were able to find a room, so to speak, at the last minute also. Cause
oh my god, the room.
Yeah, you want to talk about the room? Okay, let's talk about the room.
Yeah, the room's a whole story. So the registration went live, and then I made a mental note to keep an eye on the page, and then I got distracted by work stuff, and I was just like, oh crap, I was late by 20 minutes. So like I got on my phone, beelined directly to the website because I was scared the rooms would be gone, and then I didn't read, and I clicked the only link that was there, and it said the main hotel attached to the venue, and I was like, okay, that's it. So I mashed the link, and I didn't realize that the link went to the wrong hotel. So there was a bug on the website. So instead of booking an event hotel, I booked the room at the residence. So that was really disappointing, because for like 3 months I thought I was at the event hotel. And then I had to tell all you guys, oh hey, actually I was wrong, and we aren't at the event hotel. So now we have to either walk 20 minutes both ways, or we have to cab constantly. So you and I, Healy, we tried that walk the first day, and then we were just like, okay, we're cabbing. It's a $5 cab. We are not doing this 12 times.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because there was a couple times I literally did the walk by myself. I'm on my feet all the time at my job, so like it wasn't like the end of the world. Like as long as the weather was okay, it was pretty all right, I guess. But yeah, no, after a while it definitely did get a little annoying. So it was nice to cab too.
Yeah,
and
well, I walked myself to the very final day after Sunday finals, just because it was like, you know how it is. Get them out of here. Everybody's shuffling out like Buffalo.
Yes.
And I was just like, this cab is gonna be the worst cab wait ever. And then I looked at Uber. It was $25. I was just like, I spent a lot of goddamn money this weekend. I'm gonna walk back. So
yeah.
So that was that, and then the original room arrangement, it was gonna be me, Tao, and J-Dash, and I think that was it. And then you decided a little later, healing,
Yeah.
you were going,
Yes.
and you needed a room. So
Yeah. So it's funny. Basically, I threw it out there in like the Xbox Discord, like, hey, who's wanting to go? Because like something happened to me where it's like, all right, I really want to go. I want to make this happen. And I guess it was getting a little late at the whole thing. And I threw it out there. Didn't really get too many bites. And then I just thought, okay, maybe it's either not going to happen or I'm gonna like pay through the nose to get a decent room or whatever. And I really appreciate when you hit me up saying, hey, you can room with me. And I was like, oh my god, so basically you kind of like enabled my tournament run in the first place. So I'm greatly appreciative of that, because it just felt like everything was just kind of like falling into place,
Mm-hmm.
So that worked out.
So yeah, so that makes 4 dudes.
Yep.
Like originally, like if it didn't work out like that, 3 people in that room would have been perfectly fine. But so like it's not like a bad thing, but like
yeah.
So 4 total guys, and then Maki gets his visa sorted out, and now he's in an emergency situation where he has to get a hotel room, and it's like, obviously you're our friend, so who else are you gonna ask? And obviously we like you, so I already roomed with you at FF, right? So I know that you're good people. So it's like, okay, here we go. Yeah, let's get them. All these guys are my friends. It'll be fine. It was not fine. That room was not big enough for fine. It was. I wasn't fine for me. So I made the horrible assumption of assuming that the sofa bed would be perfectly fine. That thing was not perfectly fine. That thing was like, it was a slab of rock, basically. And it became very obvious very quickly that like trying to sleep on this thing was going to be as hard as the bracket itself.
Yeah.
So, like J-Dash tried. I think J-Dash and I both slept on it the first day.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the next day he was like, oh, I'm not sleeping on that thing. I'm sleeping sitting up. I'm like, what? No, you can't just sleep sitting up. He's like, and then he proved he could. He literally just sat there, slumped on the chair. He said bet.
So I remember looking at the pullout, and I saw you, and I thought, did he take off? Like, because I couldn't see him around the corner in the chair. So I was like wondering what happened. And kudos to him to be able to sleep in that position.
Yeah, he got his sleep. I did not get mine. I had to lab the matchup. I was just like, okay, so people are snoring. I'm not gonna name names, but people, the diesel engine's going in this room.
It was not a quiet evening, no.
No.
It was.
So that's going on, and I can't sleep on this bed, and I don't normally sleep on my back. So because I don't normally sleep on my back, to block out the snoring, I had to use my noise canceling headphones. But if I slept on my belly like I usually do, they would reposition them off my ears. So I had to make a little pillow pile to prop my head up and get used to sleeping with my head at an angle so I could fit the headset on to block out the snoring. So I was able to accomplish 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I want to say, being realistic, I maybe got 9 hours the entire weekend. Like, that's
absolutely, me too.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Same here.
Yep.
Yeah, it was basically what happened is after top 24 we had to deal with one more matchup, and that was the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was difficult, but because and this is not by any means I'm trying to like making excuses or whatever. But to be honest, the next day, the top 8 day,
Yeah.
we all were destroyed. Like you could see us
Yes.
see that on
Yes.
our faces. Like you had like, I don't know. I just can't see. I'm assuming you guys could see into my face and see, well, this guy hasn't like rested a bit since yesterday. I could see
Yeah.
that on your faces too, and we were
Yes.
like thinking. At least I was thinking. I'm pretty sure you guys as well. But at least I was thinking ways of how can I deal with this, because at first I was not feeling like exhausted or anything, but half hour before the top 8 starts, it was when I was starting to feel very tired,
Yeah.
and I was like going down, and I was like, no, I need to do something, otherwise I won't be able to play. And I saw a very tempting Red Bull
The little kiosk, right?
yeah, the kiosk
Yeah.
there, and I was like tempted to, well, if I do a Red Bull, and then I was like, no. At the very last second, I was starting to walk towards the kiosk, and I was like, no, I
Friends don't
shouldn't
let
do this.
friends do Red Bull.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to. Like I was delirious. I'm not. This isn't like cap or whatever. I was literally delirious at one point. And the funny thing is, the Red Bull was cheaper than water, so I wanted to get a bottle of water. And so, but the Red Bull was like $2 or $3 or something, and the bottle of water was like $5 or something. I was like,
I got a story about the water, but we'll get to that. So
yeah. Let me just finish off my thing real quick, because I was a little delirious, and this is not like an exaggeration or whatever. When I watched the VOD archive of like my match against Royal Psycho, I don't remember half of what had happened. And like you could say like, oh, it was like, the nerves and all that stuff. And yeah, I was nervous, but like watching the match, it was like, I did that, he did that. What like I remember like literally half of the actual match as it happened. So, but yeah, no, I had to kind of have a little bit of the Red Bull,
Yeah, yeah. And what I decided was to literally run, and I couldn't because of my back problems. Like I cannot run fast right now. So I was like walking as fast as I could, and I went upstairs to the cafeteria, and what do they have here? I need something, and then I saw the coffee, and I was like, okay, I might as well go. And I usually don't do this because I drink coffee without sugar, but I thought it was like an emergency situation or something, and I was like, okay, I need to drink coffee, and let's have fortunately like the cups were like large, so I was like, okay, I need the coffee, but this time I need sugar, so I packed like 4 or 5 like little packs of sugar and scrambled it all there, and then some random guy, I didn't like turn myself around to see him or her, I don't know what was it, but he was like, oh, going for that 4 o'clock coffee, more power to you. And I was like, yeah, this is just an emergency, I don't care. And I was like, okay. And I got my coffee and started like sipping it in like little by little, just trying to get myself awake and trying to feel like I'm not gonna crash at that moment. And fortunately it worked, but when you drink coffee, it only works for a certain amount of time, and then you're starting to feel the crash again, right? Fortunately, at the very end of the tournament, it lasted for the top 8. At the very last part of the tournament, I'm maybe talking about the last match of the true grand finals, I started to start feeling like, oh no, this is coming back, right? And as soon as the tournament finished, when people starting to approach and saying, well, what are you gonna do after this? We're gonna do this and that and whatever. And I was like, no, and I just wanna go go to the room
Yeah.
right now. It's not. I don't think
Yeah.
I can be standing and going to eat something. No, I want. At some point, I'm going to crash. Like I'm gonna
We're
fall
all-
asleep
we're
at the
all
table
old.
or whatever.
We're all old now. I'm not
Yeah.
19. I kept thinking like the way I used
Yeah.
to do it. I can't the old Canada Cups at 19. Red Bull, coffee,
No,
run sets, 5
no.
hours. You can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I said to people like, you know, they say 30 hits you like a break in the face, and I feel like I turned 30 at Combo Breaker. I didn't turn 30 on May 10th. I turned 30 on May 27th. But
Yeah. Yeah, I was basically living off of. I haven't had that much Mountain Dew Code Red in years, but I was living off of that for, a good 2 or 3 days, basically. Oof.
I was at pools. I played casuals on the Friday, and I felt really good at how I was playing, and then I had the sleeping issues, so I went in on Saturday on pools day, pools top 24. So it was gonna be a long day. Like, it was top 24, no, sorry, pools noon, top 24 8 o'clock, and it's just like, I'm not gonna be able to fall asleep again. I'm gonna, God, this is gonna suck. So I was like, I need to do something. So as luck would have it, the Red Bull truck happened to be right next to the Samsho pools, and I was
Yes.
just like, you know what? You only live once, and I didn't fly here to lose the sleeping problem. So
Yeah.
slammed down the credit card, filled me up, and then I had it. And then right before pools, it kicked in, and I played amazing. I was like, holy shit, Red Bull does give you wings. And it's a little scary because we had a discussion in the hotel room about how like Red Bull was a sponsor of that one Mexican tournament, and then the
Oh, yeah.
situation happened with that
Yeah.
that one
Yeah.
guy who had too many, and it was like it's a little scary and a little toxic that Red Bull is a sponsor of every
Yeah.
single major.
Yeah, at
But
least.
Red Bull, if you're listening, please continue to sponsor us, please.
Yeah, yeah. I think the main issue there was that here in Mexico, they were like handing over the Red Bulls
Yeah,
to
oh,
whomever
yeah.
and whatever, and without any type of like precaution or anything. It was just two girls with a Red Bull backpack handing over Red Bulls to
Yeah.
anyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that was the issue. In this case, well, you had to buy them at least. I mean, if you
Well-
don't have any money to buy them, you would be safe, right?
People
But
drink them like they're soda pops. And
Yes.
They
Yes.
aren't.
yes,
They are not. You are going to hurt yourself.
Yep.
Like, those have 4 times the caffeine as a coffee cup. You
That's right.
cannot have that much caffeine. Something bad's going to happen. So
it is. Yeah,
people need to be very careful.
yeah.
But
And I don't know
So-
if that's true or maybe I'm making this up, but I think in the bottle in the can itself it says like you shouldn't have more than one or something like that. And I don't know if I'm making this up or I saw it somewhere, but I think it what it says, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So yeah, Red Bull gives you wings, but you might fly into the sun. So
Yeah, and that crash is brutal.
Yeah, need to be careful with that.
I want to talk a bit about the Xbox initiative and how it went over at Combo Breaker, because I feel like this tournament was a watershed moment for that initiative. And there were some very cool discoveries that are very important, not just for us, but things that will help with other games that I think we found out.
Mhm.
The biggest thing was that the power related issues with the sticks turning on was not an Xbox issue. Thank God. It was an issue specific with the power issues affecting the Westin during Frosty Frosting.
Yeah.
So
Huh. Okay.
that was a huge sigh of relief that that problem basically never happened at the Combo Breaker venue.
Yeah.
So I'm God, thank our lucky stars, because I was thinking to myself, I was just like, I can't. The way these pools are going to go, and the way I'm coming here to win this tournament straight up. I'm not coming here to TO. I cannot TO for 8 hours. I cannot stand there for 8 hours and TO and play. I cannot do it. I am not the TO. I'm just a player. And then I was like, hopefully these dudes have a plan, because we're in for some problem with a bracket this huge. Yeah, and I am grateful and very appreciative that Xbox was accommodated. I will say I am a little disappointed with the correspondence between the Xbox Fighters people, myself and Kelly, and Combo Breaker. I think a little more communication would have been a little helpful, because there was some things I really tried to make a point of that were things that needed to be considered, and I don't know if they had the mind power, or I don't know if they just thought it was like not going to be a thing. But the things I thought I would have to, or we would have to deal with, did end up being things we had to deal with, and it ultimately fell on the Xbox Fighters people to do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're talking about. You didn't want to be a TO, you just want to be a competitor, you want to be at your top level. I was hanging out throughout most of the pools anyway, so when I saw stuff happening, I would, help out and figure out things. So I didn't mind, but I can totally understand why, if you just want to be like, no, I just want to play my game, push some buttons, and, beat some people, like, but I did my best to help out.
Well, I'm really happy that certain things we thought were going to be big issues, we figured them out, right? Like,
yes.
Obviously there's the two guys on both profile. All you do is we knew this already, but all you do is player one guide button all the way to the right, add or switch, main profile, and that worked. But the other big question mark, and this is what was a problem at the Edmonton Xbox events I ran, was DualShock 4. Now, I don't know why it does this, but if somebody's using a DualShock 4, it has something to do with power draw. So what you have to do is you go hold down guide button, not turn off. I don't know. Healing, you said you figured out why it was not, why turn off doesn't work, and you have to do restart.
Yes. So the real quick, the first thing I noticed was when basically you could do the thing where you just do the sign in real quick, and that was a quick, easy fix. But if basically player two's controller, you couldn't press start, that was just the immediate thing to me that's like, all right, just restart the Xbox, which actually is what happened between Andy and Royal Psycho. There was a little bit of an issue with the setup, and it kind of prevented the tournament from going any further, so they had to do a little quick break. And I remember, God, who did I turn to? Did I turn to you, Maki, or was it Ollie that was next to me? I said, I know what the issue is. Should I just jump up there? And I just said, screw it. So I jumped up on the stage, and I basically kind of guided them through it to get it up and running again. But yeah, it did happen on the main stage technically.
Or are you talking? Sorry, we're talking about the near glitch.
No, I'm not talking about the near glitch. I'm talking about the controllers, because basically when Andy and Royal were supposed to play, the controllers weren't working. So that's when I jumped up, and so I literally hopped on the stage and kind of told them, all right, restart. Andy, you do everything. Royal, don't touch anything. As soon as the versus screen shows up, that's when you hit start, and everything should be fine. And that's exactly what ended up happening. So
I remember talking to you and I think Healing, we were both on stage at the same time helping.
Yes.
I talked to the guy on Gorilla. That's a wrestling term. So
Okay.
The guy Gorilla headset, he clearly okay. So all respect to whoever this guy was, because I kind of figured it out very quickly that he was hired. Like, I don't think he was FGC.
Yeah.
And he was the only guy on this. There wasn't a TO. He was the TO, and he had to keep going back behind the curtain to talk to people. And he was like, he wasn't making eye contact, and he kept trying to listen to things in that headset, and he was by himself. And like, I tried telling him what to do, and he like every single thing he had to talk to somebody on production. And then he turned around to me, and he was like, "Do whatever you need to do." And I like rolled my eyes pretty hard, but like, it's like, it's fine. It worked out, right? I'm a little disappointed. We're very, very lucky that Xbox Fighters people were there, because I don't know what the heck would have happened.
Yes, agreed.
But it worked out. We figured it out. So and now in the future, I've been considering making or not considering, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make a Google Doc with like, or an infographic with like common fixes for Xbox related profile issues, and then I'm going to like put it public so people can like use it.
But also,
future.
To be fair, the biggest issue was 2 people using Brooks converters for their controllers at the same time. So my stick is modded, so it has the fighting board in it, so I don't need the converter, and I never had an issue with anybody. It seems specifically 2 Brooks at the same time. I did notice that.
For what?
For certain glitches to happen. Like, basically, I don't think I ever really had any major things in any of my matches, because I had the board internal. So I don't know if it's a power draw thing or something like that, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, well, everything is building, right? We just build knowledge. So we have partial knowledge before, now we have more complete knowledge, and eventually we will get to the point where everybody understands. But the really important thing about the Xbox stuff is that, for one thing, Samsho 110%, 115% Xbox Samsho is standard.
Yes.
That's what this tournament proved. It is absolutely a night and day difference. The game is more fun, more responsive. The competition is more legitimate. It looks better. It runs at high frame rate and looks amazing. Xbox is standard, and that's what this tournament proved. And in response to the naysayers, the lackadaisical people that, keep hand-wringing and whining about how it's too expensive, it's not possible, don't even try, how could you do this? You know what? We proved, we can put the work in and we can prove that it works, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
those people, you know what? The proof's in the pudding, so I kind of don't want to hear it anymore. We proved it, that this is the way to do it, even though all these people said no. So you know what? That's how it is, so deal with it. So Xbox is standard, and we'd be proud that we achieved that.
Yeah, and it's interesting, because to me it feels like the biggest hurdle, really, when it comes to, I guess, the community as far as Xbox growing, is the cost of entry, right? Because not everybody has an Xbox Series X or S, and I mean, I kind of fell into it myself, because I had one. I bought one when they were like kind of hard to find, and I just happened to be like, oh, I can get one right now, cool, I did it. But I know, like, not everybody had, like, access to the Xbox themselves. But after coming home from Evo of 2022 and like playing it, I was like, all right, no, this is legit, this is the way to go. So that's when I ended up joining the Xbox Fighters community, So
I mean, Maki said it himself, Xbox is a gift from God. And I can't believe things worked out this way. Like, it's insane. Like, just like what the way this version of the game changed the face of the game forever is completely nuts. It's gonna be in textbooks. Like, well, it has why it's like this random version of the game happens to have playable netcode for
Yes.
no reason. Nobody knows why.
Yeah.
Nobody can answer why. Kaiser doesn't even know. And
Yeah.
all top players found out about it, and literally this is all we've been doing for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. The way I found about this, it was kind of, I know you guys already know, but probably the people who's hearing this wouldn't know. But at some point I was looking to play a tournament, and because Parsec era was like dying out, if not that there was already dead. There were not many Parsec servers anymore. There was no tournaments, nothing. So there was a point like I was like, I want to play, but I want to play like in a tournament or something, but there's nothing happening. And at that point, I was constantly searching for tournaments on Smash GG at that point, right? There was nothing, and suddenly, I think I saw a Facebook post or something like that talking about a tournament because somebody in Costa Rica, was not Zorro, I think it was Kochori or someone like that, that posted in one of the Samurai Shodown groups a tournament for Xbox, and I was like, interesting. I don't know if that would be worth it or not. And then I saw the pot. I saw like they were giving like $100 or something like that for a tournament, and I was like, free entry, $100 tournament. I don't own a console, but I don't think it would be wise for me to buy one right now. So I had a friend that had the Xbox Series S as his main console. He was not a fan of fighting games at all. He's more like playing other things, and not even competitively. It's more like a casual type of gaming. And I was like, hey, I know you have an Xbox. Could you can I like borrow it for one weekend? It's just for a tournament. And he was like, yeah, sure, for sure. And the only condition is that if you win, you get to buy me some chicken wings. And I was like, okay, sure, no problem. But I don't know how we can do this if it's just like $100, but it's okay. Got it. And I got the Xbox. I played the tournament. For some odd reason, people start like donating to the pot, and the pot grew to $400 or something.
Whoa, okay.
And I came out on top for that tournament, and I was pretty surprised that I could play with everyone. And the thing is that there were people from other countries. From other countries playing in the tournament as well. And I was like, well, what is this? Why I can play? Is this something Xbox related? What is happening right now?
What is going on? Like,
yeah, because it was very responsive. I could play, and I was like, what is this? Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, maybe it's a fluke or something. I don't know, but it's working for me right now. And I kept playing, and then as soon as the tournament ended, and I was like, okay, this was good. And then I start joining like the Wednesday lobbies, and then I figure out that it was not a fluke, that I could actually play with the people online. And I was like, well, this might be a blessing, right? And with the money that I earned from that tournament, I got myself myself a Series S. I was like, okay, so I want to keep playing this game, so I might as well. And it was enough for me to get there was a program at that time in which you get an Xbox for quote unquote free if you buy like the Game Pass type of stuff for a certain amount of time, and then you get the Xbox for free. So I got that, and it worked for me. So I now got the Xbox, and I got to buy my friend some chicken wings at the end of the day. So I earned the enough, the enough kind of money that I needed for that. So yeah, I mean that's the story how I found out that you can actually play on an online environment on Xbox. And when we went offline, wow, it was something else. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know I could react to this. I didn't know I could do this.
You can do
Because
whiff punishes you
Farsight-
never thought
yeah.
were possible. Like,
Yeah.
that's what the DMV people all say too. Like the proof's in the pudding, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
You know, I do want to take an opportunity real quick because this is perfect timing. Shout outs to Thrusty and Kelly because
Yeah.
they really were
Yep.
the ones who basically, I feel like if it weren't for the two of them, Samsho as a community game probably would have been dead like, you know, months ago, or even like there, because I'm sure there was their tournament, right? The one that you're talking about with the
Yes.
the bonus. Yeah. So I mean,
Yes.
it's like, it's funny, like something that you don't realize will have a big impact, like a little seed that like sprouts into something else, you know, down the road. It just feels like if it weren't for the two of them, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now. So, you know, if either one of you are listening or both are listening, thank you very, very much, especially because the two of them in particular have been so accommodating for the community as a whole that, like, I didn't know anybody before Evo, you know, and I remember talking to Kelly and then talking to Thrusty, and like, yeah, actually, in my mind, Thrusty is basically my tournament buddy. Like, because I roomed with him at Frosty Faustings, and like, yeah, if he goes, I'll go. Like, you know, it's cool. So, you know, shout outs to the both of them, great people.
Yeah, and it's amazing how they, when things don't look so great for the game, like right now in the current state because of Street Fighter 6, several
Yeah.
people went and start grinding for that $1 million
I
fund,
honestly, I love SF6. I actually like SF6 a whole lot, like more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: Samsho is Samsho. People said the same thing with Strive came out. Samsho is Samsho. Samsho is not Strive, and Samsho is not SF6. Samsho is its own thing.
Yes.
And people that play Samsho want to play Samsho, and clearly Samsho is here to stay.
Yep.
So
That's
I do not think people need to worry. Like,
Yeah, no, and they have been like, they could perfectly, like right now when things seem like a little bit confusing probably for the Samsho community, like people not joining to the lobbies, weekly lobbies as much as they did before. They still are hosting the lobbies regardless. So that's something that I admire, that they are not like throwing out the towel or anything. They just
flag.
Yeah.
So that's
And-
amazing.
And to you know, kind of like go on growing the community. I remembered even like I was tired, very tired by the end of the tournament, but there's also I believe his name is Gian the Wolf.
Gian
the main. He basically kind of threw it out there. Somebody hit me up saying like, hey, if you want to play you know, casuals, like, and I was like, my mind was blown after the end of the tournament. I was tired, but I was like, you know what? Cool, let's somebody actually wanted me to, you know, hang out with them. That's cool. So I went and played some matches on their PlayStation 4 setup, but I was saying, hey, you know what, if one of you gets an Xbox, because I believe he's Connecticut, I think, somewhere over there, like they could potentially even get their own little scene going that we could do, like, you know, the what's called
Hybrid Fusion.
Yes, the hybrid fusion. Thank you. I couldn't remember what Kelly specifically called it, but yeah, that'd be cool to have little pockets of, like, even if only one person has the Xbox, like that's technically all you need, you know?
Yeah.
So it's nice to have things as an option, you know? So it'd be great to grow the community like that too. But yeah, it's great.
So, as far as Combo Breaker itself goes, I think that more than covers it. It was not an exaggeration to say like this has been like a life-changing event. So
Definitely.
every single person, the most public person being Hato, and obviously he's not the only guy. All the hundreds of TOs that put the work in, all the broadcasters, everybody who lent help with the game, to Roman Aru for lending commentary, even though they're more active on the KOF side of things.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. We all appreciate it, and we're all better for this event. So
Definitely.
Yeah, and to be honest, the game itself did pretty well in terms of numbers of people. I mean, it was not one. Some people would expect like, well, why Samurai Showdown, right? It's a dead game if they could call it that way, right? Because they are not aware of the community, the scene, or whatever it is. So they might as well think, well, it could have been used for another game that it's out there that deserves more. Well, if you look at like in terms of numbers, you can see that it's not the. I would expect like, well, maybe it would be like bottom 3 or something, but it is not. It was not. I mean, 129 people signed up. So
it was all it had more numbers than a lot of stuff. It had more numbers than DNF, I think.
Yeah.
Like Samsho is fine.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be honest. Samsho's gonna be there next year for sure. Like they'd be crazy. Like the amount of hype that Samsho generates, like I think it's a shoo-in.
Hopefully the rollback on the Steam or whatever will generate enough of a type thing to get people to play it, so it'll be more in their mind when it rolls around next year. So hopefully we'll have even more numbers, which would be great.
Yeah, that would be amazing actually.
The rollback Samsho seems like it's a dream, and I know looking at the current status of the beta, maybe it feels like a dream, but here's how it is. The most important thing is that they're doing it.
True.
And I know
they haven't forgotten. Yes.
I know that the technical side of SNK's operations have been dicey, so to speak. The support they have for the game is clearly there. So
yeah, I'm just glad they are committing to this, because after the first beta they could have gone like, you know what, we're dropping this. We're not doing this anymore. We're not spending any more resources and effort. But they are committing to this. For the longest time they went quiet about it, but they just came back and, well, we're doing it again. We're refining this rollback situation, and until we get it right. And that's I think that's, well, the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Because like Xbox is good, but SF6 really puts every single game on notice. And I'm sorry to say, as much as I love Samsho, when I could play SF6 and play probably people from Japan if they have fiber, like I'm sorry, that rollback needs to come for every game to survive. It's the basic thing. So but they're doing it, so that's important.
Yeah. Well, but also let's be honest. Basically with Capcom, they faced quite a bit of backlash because of the rollback in Street Fighter V, and a lot of people basically said that it was fixed with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, but that game died fairly early on, so not enough people actually got used to it. So I'm sure it's like they have been very good about fixing their netcode with every progressive game. So for them, like it's like they learned all these things from their previous games, so now they have a very good functioning one. And I mean, SNK is kind of doing the same thing with, like, the stuff they've done with KOF. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, it's nice to know that people are figuring things out.
Yeah, I'm just glad that they were like open to the rollback possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how it is. if and I don't wanna sound like, well, it's just the Japanese mentality or whatever, but
Mhm.
you know, if the things that they were doing work for the Japanese players, it's okay. Like
Yeah.
they give more weight to
Mhm.
things
Yeah.
working
Yeah.
good in their um, country and whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
opinions as well are more. They take more into account the opinions of people from their own country rather
Yeah.
than other type of opinions. So I'm just glad that they were open to consider rollback as a possibility in
Yeah.
their games. And I
Yeah.
think,
Strive was a big one.
yeah, COVID was a big part of
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
of having them make that decision or be like obsolete in their future games. So yeah, good thing that they are doing this.
Well, you know what's funny is like technically they've had online for their fighting games for a long time. Like you
Yeah.
could play online Capcom SNK2 on the Dreamcast with the dial-up modem, if I remember correctly. But the thing is that like Japan, it has the same like landmass as like California, like one state. So of course it's like, you know, their latency is not going to be that bad compared to like, you know, from Southern California to like New York or something like that. So we have more of a stress test in America, which leads to a bigger stress test for the entire world, you know. But
Yep.
I mean, they didn't release it on the Dreamcast in America anyways, so that was an import. So they just didn't have to worry about it, and these games are getting more and more popular. They are being forced to address it, and I'm glad that they have been, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right, so that I think really hits the spot well in this episode. That was pretty incredible, honestly. Like, I really feel like this whole podcast thing, partially because I have a mic that doesn't suck, but just I feel like, you know, I'm kind of getting a hang of how to do this, and I really think the right ingredients came together to this one for an amazing episode. So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know, I really appreciate both you guys. Ride or die, we'll do this forever, hopefully. And you know what? I'll see you guys at Evo, hopefully.
Oh,
Oh.
really?
Okay.
Yeah. You know
Oh,
what?
really?
Oh, really? Yeah. It's not a no, really. I'm gonna be entirely honest with you. As
Okay.
I will see you at Evo. So.
All right.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
So I guess I have to dust off some certain techniques to figure something out against bunnies. Figure it out.
Bunnies. Oh, I don't even know about that.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
I'll probably go with the, you know, good honest bacon.
Yes.
Good honest.
Honest Bacon, the character that has a 6-4 against themselves in the mirror match.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe under a super optimal level, Charlotte may potentially be 4-6, but that's a big maybe. I don't know.
That's interesting. We'll have to, you know, we'll have to talk about that on a later podcast, apparently.
Yeah. I might do like my own episode and just go over how I feel about like aspects of the meta game or whatever else, right?
All right.
All right.
But yeah, thank you guys very much. Thanks for everybody who took the time to watch this. Thanks for everybody who plays and supports Samsho. Community is forever. Samsho is unkillable. Thank you and good night. Nerf Cham.